Hi, welcome to Interviews at the Undertown. I'll be interviewing you. I'm R. O'Donnell, just a letter R, and welcome to the 13th Annual Port Townsend Film Festival. How you guys faring? You having a good time here?
Yeah, it's been great so far.
Yeah?
Really enjoyed yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of awesome films and people.
What do you like about it?
I just like the whole atmosphere in the Northwest. This is like my first time up in the Northwest, and people are just really nice. Really great selection of films here at the festival. It's just been fun to walk around and
Cool.
Yeah.
The venues are really nice too, for sure.
So
We've seen.
you guys have a short running, and the name of it?
Our short is called Among Giants.
Among Giants. And you're Cresci?
Yeah.
And Sam Price-Waldman?
That's right.
And tell us what you do with the film.
Yeah, well, the film was actually an equal collaboration between 3 filmmakers.
Okay.
And so we all co-directed, co-shot, co-edited, and co-sound mixed, I guess, and co-produced.
Yeah.
So it was a really unique experience in that.
Yeah, it's funny because both of us had started out doing like narrative film, and this was our first huge like documentary project. And when you do like fiction film, you have like the director, producer, all of that. But the way it was set up when we did this, all of us, knew how to shoot and edit. So we'd be up in the trees, and it'd be like one day Chris and I would be shooting, and Ben would be doing sound, and then we'd switch the next day. And so at the end, we all had a chance to do everything. It was really fun.
Great. So Among Giants, what's it about?
Among Giants, short documentary, 13 minutes long, about an environmental activist who lives 100 feet in a redwood tree to stop this entire grove of old growth trees from being cut down.
So I guess we connected with this tree sitter about 3 years into his tree sit, and he had been up there, like I said, for 3 years, just a small group of tree sitters up there, and they kind of strategically placed their tree sit at the location where the lumber company was going to build the roads into the forest, so they just stopped the whole thing by blocking that.
Now, who was the gentleman that's the subject of your film, his name?
His name is Farmer.
Farmer.
Yeah.
He just seemed to really enjoy what he was doing, not only as an activist, but I mean, I think he enjoyed living up in the trees, which takes a real skill,
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a certain kind of a person.
Mm-hmm.
What was inspiring about Farmer is that he really believed in the forest more than anything else. Like, we'd be walking around and, he'd know every single plant, and he's just there to protect it. And he likes being in the trees, but at the same time, he was getting tired of it. Like, when we're filming our film, he's ready to go home. He has a girlfriend that lives on the ground. He has a family. He has a grandma. And when you're 100 feet in a redwood tree, there's not that much you can do.
So it's a real testament to his devotion.
Oh, yeah.
Dedication to the cause.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he had spoken with us several times about how he felt almost more comfortable out in the forest alone rather than in like a civilization. He said like if he would go try and sleep in a house, he just wasn't as comfortable as having the fresh like night air.
Sure.
Yeah. On him.
So how did you fare as a crew? Because some of the shots you had to get up there. So talk about that experience.
Yeah, that was a really fun and crazy part of the shoot. None of us really had an idea of what we were getting into when we went out there, and we brought in way too much gear and clothes, and I don't know, it was just logistically it was really challenging because of how hard it is to move around in the trees. And they have a thing up there called tree time. They say everything's on tree time because if you want to go to the bathroom or you want to go visit someone else 2 trees over, normally that takes 5 minutes, and in tree time it takes like an hour and a half. So you're really limited to what you can do in a day, and you really have to be, like schedule it out really well.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time that helped us as filmmakers. It was one of those, constraints that really brings out the creativity, because you can't just jump over the next tree and get a shot. You have to say, okay, I'm going to go over, I have to figure out which tree, because this is going to be a 3-hour endeavor.
And you're high up.
Yeah.
How high are you?
On average, like 100 feet.
Wow.
Some of the times we'd climb up to like 140.
Yeah.
So, it takes time, and that ended up being a great thing. And then, we'd wake up like early in the morning and shoot, and then at the end of every day, we'd get together and have like these 2 or 3 hour meetings about, where's our story going to go and what shots are we going to get. We had to plan it out, otherwise it would have been nothing.
Did you stay up in the trees as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really? So
We,
talk a little bit about that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, we spent 4 nights, I think,
Yeah,
up in the trees.
4 days, 4 nights.
Continuously during our main shoot. And yeah, it was a really huge, crazy experience to get used to. And you know, we were talking about how logistically everything's hard. Just like, you know, taking off a lens cap or doing a lens change is like the most nerve-wracking thing you can do. You know, 'cause
Well, it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah, you know,
That's not normally the case unless
Yeah.
you're a war correspondent or something.
yeah.
Wow. So was it was just the three of you, your other partner.
Yeah,
So there was no other crew, but
Right.
you were it.
just
Yeah.
us 3, yeah.
How much footage did you have to shoot to get? Your film runs
13 minutes.
13 minutes. So how much film did you have to shoot? Video.
We got quite a bit. I don't remember
Quite a
several hours. I know there were 3 tree sitters up in the trees when we were there, and originally we had thought, you know, we want to include all 3 of them. So we had a lot of scenes with other tree sitters and them interacting, and but eventually decided that it would be a much stronger film if we just focus on one person and their kind of individual dedication to the issue. So
Right. I thought that worked actually. Farmer was a good subject.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. Now, what did you edit the film on?
Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, the pros and cons of the new technology, because it makes it so much easy, you know, than getting an Avid, which used to be a huge
Oh,
Yeah.
beast of them, and now your computer, what, Mac or something, Mac program. And,
Definitely.
Yeah.
We just edited on our laptops, and that was the beauty of it, is we could, you know, we had such a short timeline. We had a semester to make the film, but it kind of broke down to like 4 weeks of pre-production, 2 weeks of production, and then by the time you're done with that, you only have 6 weeks to, you know, get a rough cut, fine cut, final cut, sound design,
It was
score.
yeah.
So it was a really crazy thing. So we ended up, one of us would edit for 8 hours and then run the computer over to the other person's house, and you know, they would do the all-night shift, and it was just,
Yeah,
it got really crazy towards the end.
Scrambled eggs at 4 a.m. like every night, you know, just like we'd all be up, and one person would be on the couch, one person would be like editing, the other person would be like looking for music or like, you know,
Right.
contacting our sound designer, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but in a
Yeah,
good way.
in a good way.
Yeah.
What'd you shoot it on?
We shot it on the Canon 5D and the 7D.
Good?
which-
Is it good? How'd that come about, you getting your equipment, you know, what you wanted to use?
It was sort of like a natural choice
Mhm.
because we're going 100 feet up in the trees, and so
Okay.
we couldn't bring these big cameras. But I know at first, like, we put a lot of thought into our lens packages. Like, we would like set up in the kitchen with our 7D and like, you know, figure out the different focal lengths, and okay, our tree platform is like 7 feet, so we should go with the Tokina versus the Canon. And so we were very specific about what, you know, cameras and lenses we bring along. But we made the mistake the first weekend of just bringing way too much stuff. Like, we brought a slider and like a bunch of like other stuff. We almost brought a C-stand. And so, you know, here we are, first time going up in the trees, like, we're lugging these huge duffel bags.
How did you
at
get up the
night.
trees? How did you get up the trees?
You have
It
to-
was rigging,
it's-
it's all rigging, right?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
climb up with a series of like Prusik loops and things. But the crazy thing was we brought in this gear, but we didn't realize that, you know, the area that we were going into was, you know, it's a private property, and you know, we have to enter at like 11 p.m. and sneaking through people's backyards and then hiking through the forest a couple miles to get to this place. So it was like, yeah, so just carrying these duffel bags is one thing, but like doing it through the mud and over stumps and things is just
Run and
it's
gun?
crazy.
Run and gun?
Yeah.
You know. So, you have a good war story? Anything that really happened that was like, oh my gosh, you know, palpitations?
I know the scariest moment for me,
Mhm.
one of the scariest moments of
Yeah.
my entire life, was like on our third night up there. To go from tree to tree, there's these huge ropes that go, and you just have like a little harness on your belt, and you attach it to the ropes, and you'll swing like 150 feet out to the next tree, and you're pulling yourself up, and you look down, and it's just like this huge abyss.
Mm.
And I had just learned how to do that, and I was going to meet another character in another tree, and I did that, and the sun set, and I had to go back. And I had just learned how to, like, climb trees. And I was, like, you know, second-guessing myself all over. I wasn't sure if I was on the right
Sure,
rope to attach.
sure.
I wasn't sure
Oh.
if it was attached right.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
do you remember that night? You and Ben were like calling
coach you
out.
back.
You're like, we're eating all the saltines and cheese. Like, where are you? And I was just like, still like 200 feet away on this tree, just like, shit. Like, how do I get over there? It was scary, but
Yeah, it was scary. You know, the beauty is it's a beautiful looking film, and it has a narrative feel to it in the way that you set it up. You want to talk a little bit more about the process of actually the filming it and what you were trying to go for as far as a visual taste of the film?
Yeah, we were trying to really, first of all, the filmic look, like that's why we ended up shooting on DSLRs. Like I think like a Panasonic HMC or HVX would have been a much better choice. You didn't have to do lens changes, and it's much more efficient and can record a lot longer on a memory card. But we really were attracted to that filmic look and just the style. We ended up shooting it more verite, as opposed to like having a bunch of sit-down interviews with him. And that we wanted to kind of get you closer and have you be able to relate with the character more, and also kind of we wanted to bring the audience into this environment that is Northern California, because it's such a unique and interesting environment. We thought it was my first time up in the redwoods, and it's just the city. Even at the beginning of the film, when he's driving through the city, it just has its own unique feel to it. And before we knew that this film was going to be in festivals, we knew that our primary audience was going to be people from Orange County, where we went to school, and we kind of wanted to bring that feeling of the redwoods into the film.
Yeah. Now the graphics in the beginning, kind of cool. Now talk a little bit about that, where the title treatment that came in. Whose idea? How did you work that out?
I don't even remember between the three of us. We had a graphic designer that actually designed the logo.
Oh, okay.
And then the third guy, Ben, he actually used Adobe After Effects to put it in there.
Oh.
I had one person ask me, like, did you guys build that out of wood?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that was computer graphics.
Well, it worked out, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was effective. I thought it sort of gave an idea of what you were about to see. In a way, as filmmakers, your signature. So I thought it was kind of clever introduction. You have a DVD available anywhere?
Not for sale right now.
Yeah.
We've kind of been doing the festival thing. This is kind of one of the last stops, I think, on our festival tour.
Yeah.
So after that, I believe we're just going to put it up online. Just
Your website? You have one? Tell us what it is.
Yeah, we have a website, amonggiantsfilm.com.
Okay.
You can check it out there, and the tree sit actually ended a couple months ago. The tree sitters won.
Okay.
But our website.
So
is still
farmers
up
on
there.
the ground now.
Farmers are on the ground. The lumber company turned 2,000 acres into a protected forest, which is
Wonderful.
amazing.
It's
yeah,
you have to feel good about that.
it's really cool to be a part
Yeah.
of it. For
Very
sure.
cool.
And another screening happening soon somewhere else?
This is sort of the end of our festival run. I think we're screening at Woodstock Film Festival, Camden Documentary Festival, and then after that, I think we're definitely screening on Outside Television, and we have maybe a couple more screenings in PBS and SoCal, and then after that, we're probably just going to put it online and let everyone see it.
Great. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for talking with us, and
Thank you.
good luck with the festival.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Art.
Take care.